All right, we're out at the home of Mr. and Mrs. Flores. We're looking at doing some siding work. We're also going to provide some referrals for SoCup to come look at an underlying roof leak, which is kind of the reason they called us initially in the first place. But it's definitely not it's something out of our scope. It definitely need to have SoCup come out here and take a look and see if there's any kind of decking issue or some kind of issue with the roof that's causing the leak they're having in the back. So I will do that, but we're looking at the siding, looking at going back, with a Cedar Mill Select 8 1/4. I'll be doing an overlay primarily, a few areas where we're going to tear off, and I'll indicate those in the video. But other than that, it will be a overlay with the 5/16 inch Hardie. Tyvek seam tape flashing. All the underlayments will still go on over this vertical siding here that we see, and then the Cedar Mill Select 8 1/4 will go on top of that. We have quite a few areas here where there's like an apron above the window, usually a 1x4. All that area, all those aprons above the windows will become Hardie plank. All trim, exterior trim will become Hardie plank. There'll be nothing left that's cedar or wood or anything. In between the windows, like you see here, that will all be Hardie plank. These little dormers, we have technically 3 dormers up there. All the dormers will be Hardie plank. We're doing a fascia overlay with the 5/16 inch Hardie, and we're doing just basically a painting of the soffit. But the major issue with carpenter ants here, and has been since they've been in the home, so that's a lot of the incentive too, to get in the Hardie plank on there and creating something that the ants can't get through. This area of soffit right back up in there, that little piece right there is falling down, so that needs to be retacked, caulked and sealed, and then painted. All the flashing that needs to be done along all these areas, the rake walls here, and then also the dormers where the dormer dies into the roof line, all that flashing will be done at the time of doing the project. They're not in love with this kind of this spindle thing up here, so that can go away. Underneath here, we would paint the front porch ceiling, and then there's a very small part of porch ceiling in the rear, not the OSB, but the porch ceiling that we would paint. A little bit of rot right here, so that needs to be replaced. Obviously a thin little strip of wood there, and you can see the ants just marching in there, so obviously they've taken advantage of the moisture and they're getting up in there now too, which is a big problem in terms of wherever they're going to chew on. So coming around here, again, just a lot of kind of mirrored stuff, but got another part of the dormer there, rake wall right there, and then again you can see the same mirror dormer over here, and then this side. So for the most part, there's a couple, 3-4 areas of the fascia that are in bad shape, but for the most part the fascia is pretty much ready for fascia overlay. And then a big gable wall again here. On the other side, there was a small woodpecker hole where the birds are probably getting into. This side, there is no hole, so that's a good thing. That big security light up there, that will be R&R, so we'll move and reinstall that. And then we're going to come around to the back here. This side door can just be, the garage entry door can just be painted at the time of the project. We would be painting all the soffit, front porch ceiling, and like I said, a small area of rear porch ceiling back here. Not too much siding back here. Again, we have this breakfast area. Tito just built this porch. So again, this OSB rough decking, we're not doing anything with that. He's going to put up another porch ceiling. These little guys, that will all be addressed. Again, you have the apron above the window. See that? That will all be addressed with Hardie. And this trim work in between the windows and the breakfast will also become Hardie plank. And up here is a part that SoCup needs to look at. There's a bunch of plastic when I got here, but this embankment of windows here, especially this little area right here, is causing major leaking underneath. So we had a very, very good and honest talk about, hey, if you're looking to do the siding to fix this, that's not a guarantee that I'm comfortable with, and still to right now as I'm making this video, something needs to be looked at in terms of the roofing, the decking, not just the siding, because I think there's some underlying issues up there that would not be fixed by doing the siding. So just wanted to be honest and upfront with them to make sure we avoid any kind of confusion or frustration from the get-go. And that's why we're going to have SoCup come out and take a look and give his professional opinion on that. So, but this area, all this trim work up here, this little knee wall, and this little wall beneath the windows would all become HardiePlank siding. All of that would be flashed and sealed much better than it is now. But again, just didn't want to make any kind of realistic promises or set any kind of unrealistic expectations that, you know, this problem is going to be fixed by siding. So you can see, I mean, it's bad. This whole wall is, the brick wall, you can kind of see it in the video, is moist to the touch. And then here's the OSB where that leaking's coming through. So a significant amount of water. And you can see it on the decking where it's rotted up there. So again, this little area inside the porch ceiling above the door, and this sidewall ceiling where the soffit is, porch ceiling piece is hanging down, all that would be addressed with Hardie as well. Again, more apron above the window here, more apron above the window there. So that would all become Hardie. We got this little niche thing, little nook. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. See back up in there? It goes back that wall about 4.5 feet. It's probably about a 5-foot wall. Not quite 5 foot, but there is actually 2 windows back up in there. So those windows will be all wrapped and trimmed in Hardie 1x4. And that little cubby back there, that would all become HardiePlank siding too, where you see the 2 boards on the wall. Chimney's brick, obviously, but that would all become HardiePlank. This little kind of half gable there, rake wall, that would be HardiePlank as well. And you can see squirrels chewing pretty much everywhere on the freeze board. So that's kind of what we got. The electrical is off the wall. It's in brick on siding, not on siding. So we're good with that. We talked about maybe putting up temporary pull for all these wires. It's actually pulled. See that? It's caused some separation in the fascia. So we need to address that and get that fascia back together before we do the fascia overlay. And that's pretty much what we have. Mrs. Flores had to take off actually, so this video hopefully will be useful for her. But we're going to circle back with her and go over the pricing and the information that we kind of discovered today, and we'll kind of take it from there. So thank you so much for your time today, folks. Really appreciate it, and we look forward to the opportunity to help you out.